ask you a couple of questions,
Yeah.
Martin? So how often would you say that this happens?
Probably see it 2 or 3 times a year.
2 or 3 times a year. And how often should businesses be checking for this?
Well, certainly in terms of pre-start checks, so you might have a weekly check where somebody goes round and makes sure that all the interlocks are in place, emergency stops, that make sure emergency stops are working, making sure that the guarding is functional. It should certainly be part of an assessment under PUR, the Provision and Use of Work Equipment Regulations, which, depending on the equipment, is going to be usually somewhere between 1 and 3 years. I'd suggest, depending on how the equipment's being used.
So, Martin, how can we prevent it from happening?
So the key thing is that this tends to happen more frequently when guarding has been added to a machine after it has been installed. And we need to make sure that the guarding actually helps the operators to do their job, not hinder them. So, for example, if the operators need to have a clear view of the process, then it's important that we make sure we select the right materials and we don't make our guarding out of, say, steel, where they can't see it.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that that any adjustments that need to be made with the machine running, that they can be done under safe conditions.
Yes, okay.
And that might include safe limited speed, or with limited torque available, so that you can adjust things, but with a reduction of the level of harm that could be caused if there was contact with a hazardous part. The other things we can do are make sure that where items like this are secured to the machine, that they are secured with a fixing means that the operator doesn't have access to the tool for. So that might include security torques. You could even glue. The standard that deals with this sort of thing does mention gluing or welding to make sure that these things can't be removed. But the important thing really is that no matter what fixing method you use, if the motivation to defeat the interlock remains, people will find a way around it.
Is there a way to remove the motivations for people wanting to break the guard interlocks altogether?
That comes down to how well the guarding around the process has been designed.
So, Martin, as an employer, if one of my employees defeated one of the interlocks, does that mean that I am not liable?
No, unfortunately it doesn't. So one of the regulations in PUR, Regulation 11, paragraph 3, talks about the employer's duty to ensure that the interlocks can't be easily bypassed. Where, as an employer, there would be particular problems in terms of prosecution is if it could be shown that there was a habit of defeating interlocks in order to get the job done.
Yeah.
So typical examples might be defeating interlocks to make it easier to unblock a machine.
Okay. Yeah.
While it's running, rather than having to keep stopping.
To shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. If there's any questions on guarding standards, interlocks, then give Finch Consulting a call or drop us an email, inquiries@finch-consulting.com. Thank you.